T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Yeah. Not a game, not a game.
Me. Bam, bam. Me, man.
Not a game.
Slap that like she scored 30.
What are we even talking about, man? We talking about sports here.
Well. We have a series on our hands, boys. We have a series on our hands. Congratulations to Ron. I think you were the only one that took the Celtics out of the four of us here on a Thursday night. How does it feel cashing that bet?
Shit, you fucking know it, dog. I tell you, y'all got to listen to we talking about sports, because we talking about sports and we know what we talking about.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff you talked about came to fruition. We saw the Celtics hunting out Steph Curry with Jason Tatum, trying to get him down on the block. You even caught the 3 or 4 fouls that you talked about.
He's too small.
Trouble. Yeah,
he's too small, Roland. He's too small, bro.
Good read on the game, Ron. I got to give you the props. I got to ask you though, did you sprinkle a little on the money line, or did you just take the spread?
No, I wasn't that confident. Plus 4. It was 3.5, and I bought the hook to 4. So
okay. Hey, the ticket cash is the same. Ticket cash is exactly the same. Well, just wanted to give you your kudos here, but it's We Talking About Sports. We're back with another live edition. It's Ron, Ben, and Roland today, and Justin is off in the background. I think he's doing some work behind the scenes. Ben, how are you doing, man? Did you like the result of that game 1?
Good, yeah, I like the result. I had predicted that the Warriors would take game 1 at home. I thought they looked like they were going to for the majority of the game. That fourth quarter, I mean, I'm sure it's been talked about at a premium on any network that you watch, if you watch morning sports or talk show sports. But that fourth quarter was the quarter that really flipped the game on its head. It's complete. It's exactly what we didn't expect. We expected the more veteran team to dominate that fourth quarter, but the Celtics gave a historic performance in the fourth quarter, came up with that win. And I mean, I was happy about it as a Warriors hater that I am. So I'm hoping Ron gives them some luck again today. Goes with the Celtics in a segment that we'll have later. But yeah, man, I enjoyed the game.
What about you, Justin? What were your thoughts on the game? And we'll get to the fourth quarter here in a sec, but what was your general thoughts on the game?
Just to share a little bit more of what me and Ron talked about after the game, we did like a little 5-minute recap of the game. Steph Curry can't do it all, man. He's going to need the help from those other guys. I think Poole, Draymond, and Clay, I think they were like maybe 30 points altogether is what they scored. And they shot it a lot, and it was just not a good percentage night on the shooting for them. So Steph can't do it all. I don't blame him at all.
I agree with you there. It's definitely going to take more than just Steph Curry and a couple of his 3-point flurries to get them through the game. The one thing that we really didn't think a lot about, and we'll go here to the game 1 recap and get right into it. And I brought up the experience that the Warriors had, right? Pretty much between Draymond, Clay, and Steph, and maybe throwing Looney. But their role players, this is their first time in the spotlight too. Just like a lot of the Celtics guys, this is the first time Wiggins has ever been playing in high leverage situations. It's the first time that Jordan Poole has played in high leverage situations. And the one thing that I want to say is I kind of think I overlooked some of the Warriors' deficiencies, because I really do think they need a strong second scorer, and I don't necessarily know that we can count on any one of those guys to come through on a consistent basis. And the reason why I say overlooked it is because throughout the year, Jordan Poole made a name for himself. He tore it up when Steph Curry got hurt, but I heard a lot of people talking about it, and it makes sense. Jordan Poole, he's a G leaguer. I mean, he comes from the G League. Yes, he's balled out, but this is the biggest situation that he's ever been in. So I'm thinking there might be a little bit of a deer in a headlight situation here. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's just one of my takeaways from the game. Is that we talked a lot about this Warriors experience, but outside of Steph, Clay, and Dre, there's really not a lot of finals experience on that team. So I'm getting a little worried as a Warriors backer here.
You should be worried, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I know it's just game one, but remember the way we went over the matchups before game one in the little live that we did. And we all did go Jaylen Brown over Klay Thompson, but it might be like by a pretty big margin, right?
Yeah. By a mile. Especially because you think about Klay Thompson. What was the one thing that he was able to bring to the table that the other wing players didn't have on the Warriors? That was defense. Right? He was their best two-way player. There's people calling Klay Thompson the best two-way player in the NBA before he went hurt. There was conversations about that, depending on what you thought about the guy. But needless to say, he was a good defender. Age, injuries, he's a step slower. I heard a stat from the Lombardi line this morning on Vision. Guys who were going up against Klay Thompson yesterday or on Thursday were like 7 of 10 shooting or 8 of 10 shooting. So the defense isn't there for Klay anymore, and that's another reason to worry.
Hey, Eddie, if you want to crown him, Eddie. Crown him, Eddie.
I don't think he wants to crown him. He hates the Celtics.
No, but very, very valid points. You know, Roland, you kind of hit it there, man. We always talk about Robin. You know, who's the Robin to the Batman? And the Robins are Jaylen Brown for the Celtics to me, and Klay Thompson for the Warriors. And Klay's just not that guy anymore. I know Ben's gonna go into it a little bit further here, but
he's more like Alfred now.
He's more like Alfred. Okay, I like that. You can't count on him to give you those 25 plus to 30 anymore. I think he scored up 20 consistently, but it's the finals. And when Curry's at 34, 35, you need him to kind of be at that level, just like we used to see him be at. And he can still put it in the bucket from the 3-point range. But one thing that I noticed is that he can't take it to the hoop anymore like he used to before. He is a bigger guard as well. So he can, he can bang on the block a little bit, but I haven't seen him drive the ball consistently.
Yeah, he can't even get past Al Horford at this point. He has to fall for those little step backs.
Curry started really hot that game with the 3-pointers. He was 5 for 6 in the first quarter from 3 points. He ends up finishing 7 for 14. So the hot hand leaves him, especially in that fourth quarter where they needed him.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen because, like we talked about, and you said it too in the beginning, you need somebody else to step up throughout the game, right? Like Steph got you there. He even played pretty good in the third quarter, but we have this fourth quarter breakdown up here. Ben, what do you think when you see this 40-16 fourth quarter breakdown? Do you put some of the onus on Steve Kerr, maybe not stopping it soon enough or trying to stop it? Do you look at some of the lineups that they put in there with Iguodala playing major minutes in the fourth? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at these stats?
One of the things that we talked about game one was like the feeling out process, and they were going to see how things were going to go down. The players that the Warriors were leaving open, yes, they had 40 points in that fourth quarter, but let's not get it twisted. Most of those shots were wide open three-pointers. Wide open, and the Celtics players just happened to make them. Yes, it happened to be Al Horford and Derek White, but I mean, even then, you look at it, Tatum ends up with a horrible shooting night, shoots 17% from the field, and you win by double digits on the road. It was crazy. Jaylen Brown did start that comeback in the fourth quarter. He started getting them going, brought some energy, and then, like I said, they were wide open shots. They were wide open shots. The Celtics were making. Yes, it was their first time in the NBA Finals, but they're NBA players, and we always say they should make a wide open shot. The Celtics did that night.
And a lot of open shots in the corner. They had a lot of open corner threes. Another interesting thing that I heard today, the Warriors were top 5 against a 3-point shot all year and into the playoffs, but they were like bottom 10 against corner threes. And they got killed from the corner three in that last game. So just another tidbit, can Kerr adjust? Because they've been playing that kind of defense all year. And so my question to you guys is, do you think the Warriors have a chance of, do you see an adjustment for them is kind of what I'm asking. Do you see an adjustment? Like, how do you stop giving up threes? You stay home on the shooters, right? You
don't double Tatum in the fourth. They're hunting Curry, and then he has Curry one-on-one, Tatum does, and then they run the double, and Tatum's been making that pass to that player, or he at least did in game one. And like we said, the shots were falling. But they're hunting Curry every time in the pick and roll in the fourth quarter. and it's with Tatum. And what are they just going to leave him on an island and let Tatum shoot that free throw line jumper over him, or are they going to double and hope the other guys, miss? Draymond said, "Oh, we'll take our chances. These players shot this percentage. We'll take." Dude, you were 2 for 12. First of all, you should not be talking about shooting percentages. But yeah, man, it's going to come down to whether they leave Curry on that island in the fourth quarter pick and rolls, or they keep running the doubles and the Celtics players make the shots.
I mean, to me, I don't know if you need to make any adjustments if you're the Warriors. Going into the fourth quarter, you're up 12.
That's a valid point too.
I mean, it's just that they freaking went off. They had the best fourth quarter, probably shooting the three in NBA history. So your strategy is working until then. It's just you got to give props to the guys because they made those shots at the end. And I don't know if you can make any adjustments because if you go small as a Warriors lineup and the Celtics go small, the Celtics small lineup is still going to body your lineup no matter what. So you're the small team on the court regardless. So I don't know if Kerr can make any changes. I mean, what do you do out there? You take out Looney and maybe insert another smaller guard, but does that smaller guard going to help you out offensively the way that
They've
Looney
done that before
with the boards?
But they put Poole in and they have all three guards. They didn't do that much this last game. Poole only had about like 25 minutes. So they can go smaller. That's an adjustment they can do and try to shoot it out and try to win with the shootout.
There's also just no threat down low from the Warriors as far as, when you're talking about driving to the basket and finishing or anybody that you're going to throw it down there for a post up.
Looney's not a threat. He's double pumping instead of just going up strong. Yeah, that's not a problem for the Boston Celtics.
Draymond either. Like it's perimeter defense that the Celtics have to focus on, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA.
And the Warriors are at a disadvantage when they have Looney and Draymond in the game at the same time. That's two non-factors on offense. It just makes it a lot easier for the Celtics. What were you going to say, Justin?
I just want to know. I know Gary Payton was cleared. Is he going to play at all, or
he's going to play tonight? I'm sure. I'm pretty sure he's going to play.
He didn't see any action game one.
They gave those minutes to Andre Iguodala. I think it was like an experience thing, but they played him way too much, especially coming off of an injury, not really playing all playoffs. And they put him in. I know he hit that 3 when he came into the game initially, but he was
effective with his minutes. 12 minutes he played, 3 for 4, 7 points. I mean, he was not like, he's in the plus. He's not in the negative there.
He's coming for Finals MVP, Coach.
Nah, he's not. But I'm just saying he wasn't like the worst until he got hurt. He got pulled out of the game because he got hurt right away. I think he got hit in the nuts.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is they put him in, shoots a 3, and then he gets hurt, doesn't play for the majority of the game, comes back, hits another 3, and then they take him off the court. So you might as well let Gary Payton get some run if he's gonna give you more minutes consistently.
I think
that quote that Draymond said, Ben, it's 15 for 23 from those guys. We'll be fine.
That's crazy. But
that's a wild quote, man, when you lost a game like that.
I honestly think that the best player for the Warriors in game 1 was Andrew Wiggins, bro. I mean, he got his 20 points. He held Tatum in check. If a number 2 guy, usually you want around 20 points from the guy, right? Yeah. Wiggins was the only guy besides Curry that scored for the Warriors.
Yeah, he was 8 for 15, 2 for 7 points. From threes, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Let's see, 1 steal, 3 blocks, and 5 rebounds with 20 points.
Yeah, Wiggins came through.
He filled up the stat sheet and he held Tatum to that horrible game. He was a primary defender on Jason Tatum. I know we said that in the fourth quarter they were blitzing him with double teams to get the ball out of his hand, but while he was guarding Tatum, he did a really good job.
The crazy thing about Tatum, 3 for 17 shooting that night, somehow still ends up at plus 16 for the night. It gets an assist, 13 assists. I mean, makes up for those missed shots.
I'm not sure exactly how that plus minus stuff works.
It's just like for efficiency.
Yeah, it's just like overall, like you said, Justin, just efficiency. But let's move on a little bit. I know we talked and alluded to it here. Who's the better Robin? Who's the guy that's going to step up and help out the Batmans on the team, Steph Curry and Jason Tatum? And I think we're all in agreement. It's Jaylen Brown here over Klay Thompson. But I guess
through game 1, absolutely.
And I think overall too. I think at this point in Klay's career, I would rather have Jaylen Brown. But my question is, do you think that and Ron talked about it too, about the Warriors not having to make any adjustments? Do you think the Warriors stick to that same style of defense and they sell out on stopping Jason Tatum? Or do they maybe open it up for some of these other guys to beat them consistently, like Jaylen Brown or Payton or the other guys on their team?
I think I just go back to the previous series where the Celtics had a scoring leader, a different scoring leader every night. So it doesn't have to be Jaylen Brown tonight, and I don't think it will be. I think Tatum's going to have to be the guy to step up tonight.
Okay, so you don't see another bad performance from Jason Tatum?
No,
tonight?
I don't foresee that.
Okay.
He was wearing the Kobe Celtic workout gear, so I think he's on the Mama train right now.
Okay.
Might have sent the text.
If you're looking at Clay's numbers, he was 6 for 14. Wiggins was 8 for 15. So very comparable. 3 for 7 from the three. Wiggins was 2 for 7. He didn't go to the line at all, which kind of goes to my fact of he's not driving, to the paint anymore and getting fouled. We remember back in those championship runs, Clay would drive to the basket, get fouled, and he was a guy that was shooting just like Curry from the free throw line.
Yep.
So the Warriors can count on those points. And every time you saw them go to the free throw line, you're like, damn, I don't want to see this guy, because like the commentators always say, oh, when you see the bucket go in the hoop, it gets a little bit easier to shoot. You didn't want that to happen. He only put up 15. I mean, we're talking as Clay as a Robin. Yes, it's a small sample size. It's only game one. But if you have Andrew Wiggins outscoring you, who a lot of people, when the trade went down, thought it was a bad trade. They didn't want Andrew Wiggins. They thought, he wasn't, this great of a player, but they had to get him because Clay was out. So the player that they got to not replace you, but to kind of help out Curry is outperforming you. And you're Curry's OG. You're his homie. You need to put up a better performance. But like Roland and Ben were saying, I don't know if we can count on him to be that Clay anymore. And that's going to be hard when you have a younger Jaylen Brown across from you who can comparably be, 1A and 1B on Tatum and the Celtics.
And not
What
only
do
that,
the Warriors look like if they got LaMelo instead of Wiseman right now?
A lot better position. That's all I got to say.
yeah.
What were you going to say, Ben?
No, I was just going to say that it also takes a toll on Clay that Jaylen Brown is guarding him on defense, and he's a very respectable defender. And then then Clay goes on defense, and he has to try and stick with Jaylen Brown, who's he scores at all three levels. So Clay's getting his work put in, his workout in is what I'm trying to get at, which might be taking a toll on him on the offensive side of the ball late in the game, but. I honestly think that Wiggins is a Robin. I don't think that it's Clay at this point. I think everybody's pretty much in agreement. Clay he's always going to be that knockdown shooter. But as far as taking a step down, I think that's pretty unanimous that he has taken that step down.
Yeah, you have Otto Porter scoring 12 and Clay's putting up 15. So, I mean, that's kind of a crazy stat right there. You have a guy coming off the bench playing 24 minutes to Klay Thompson's 39 and almost scoring the same amount of points.
Yeah, and just that sentence that you said right now, Ben, that worries me as a guy who's back in the Warriors. Like, Andrew Wiggins, he has played good. He's an all-star starter. He's really proved a lot of people wrong this year. But do you really want him to be your Robin in the NBA Finals? That's where I'm coming from right now, and it's just giving me a little pause for concern because.
Very true.
Where else are you looking if you're Steph, like to give you points? And you're right. It's Andrew Wiggins. That's where you're looking at because right now, can we count on Jordan Poole to be the sixth man that he was, or even the starting point guard that he was for a lot of the years?
He better get it right tonight because getting it right on the road in the finals, I don't see it happening. So he better figure something out tonight, bro.
And that's the thing. Jordan Poole, I think, is the key to this series. If he can come out and be the guy that he was throughout the regular season, then the Warriors have a shot. But if he's not there and you're asking Wiggins to come through with 20 plus every night, shit, call this in 6 for the Celtics if you're asking me. And that's because I took the Warriors in 6. But I just, again, like I said, I think there was like I was looking at it with rose-petal glasses because I overlooked some of the stuff.
I like
because of how well Jordan Poole played throughout the year, how well Steph Curry has been playing. I kind of overlooked a lot of things here, and that's because I backed the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I went against them here. So
I like that phrase though.
Yeah, the rose-petal glasses. I did not look at the deficiencies the right way. Well, let's move on to it because we're alluding to it here, and I think I know everybody. I know everybody's answer for this next one. Oh shit, never mind. I'm thinking about something else because I was thinking about the question on the hits about is Curry enough, and we're all in agreement that Curry's not enough for this to happen. So
Nope.
let's move on to the next slide. 1A, 1B, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I know, Ben, you're really big on Jaylen Brown. Do you think Jaylen Brown is going to continue on throughout the series, doing what he's doing, and leading the Celtics ultimately to a victory?
If the defensive game plan is going to be to kind of blitz Tatum and maybe treat him the way they treated Luka in several of those games where they just made him be a passer, I think that it's going to have to be on Jaylen Brown. And we know that he's the type of guy who's not going to back down. Even if it's not his night, he's a guy that's going to keep taking shots and confidently. He thinks that he's just as good as Jason Tatum. I think that he's good as Jason Tatum. I know I've been on the record several times for that, and I've looked pretty crazy. But, first game in the NBA Finals, Jaylen Brown balled out. And let's see if he can keep doing it consistently. I hope that he can for the Celtics' sake.
Justin, would you sprinkle a little bit right now on Jaylen Brown plus 550 to be the Finals MVP? Do you think that's a live bet considering how they're playing Jason Tatum? Or do you think Jason Tatum, if the Celtics win, is still the favorite to be the?
No, I think both guys are in play to be the MVP. I think both of them play really well. If it's anything like Game 1 again tonight, where Jason Tatum is being Robin and he's facilitating getting Jaylen Brown open, then Jaylen Brown's going to win the MVP here. But it's a good bet at plus 500. There's value there for sure.
Yeah,
There's value.
Isn't it crazy that we're talking about this and they haven't even gone to Boston yet? Like, we're talking about how well they're playing and how well they probably will play if they can at least continue a smidgen of how they play Game 1, and they're not even in fucking Boston yet, bro. They're doing this shit on the road. It's crazy.
We should have been continuing the train because all playoff long we've been talking about how good Boston was, and since the All-Star break we've been how hot of a team this is. And I don't know what happened. They get matched up against the Warriors. We just, I guess, overlooked them completely because of the experience that the Warriors have. But shame on us for doing that. I think Boston is a real good team here. They're good on both sides of the ball.
And the teams that they face to get here, the Nets,
Bucks.
the defending champs and the Bucks. It's shit, man.
The
I don't
Heat,
know.
just a bunch of dogs on the Heat too.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know. Or maybe we're fucking overreacting. Maybe Game 1's just a huge overreaction.
Well,
we'll have more sample size tonight, Ron. That's for sure.
People tend to overreact, Ron, but we also, we can't deny that it's already essentially a must-win game for the Warriors in this series. You can't go back to Boston down 0-2.
You cannot, no matter what.
Right. So it's must-win. As crazy as it sounds, Game 2 of the NBA Finals, it's must-win. If you're the home team and you drop both of your home games, the series is pretty much over. So it is must-win tonight. We should see a very desperate Warriors team. And let's see if they can figure it out, man. I'm excited for this shit. 15 minutes.
I do got to ask y'all, last series, Boston played pretty well away from home.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it on the show on Thursday. The Celtics on the road in the playoffs, 8-1 against the spread, 7-2 straight up. That improves to 9-1 against the spread, 8-2 straight up. They're a very, very good road team. They proved it this year in the playoffs. But I know this is a must-win game. I do agree. But the Celtics are susceptible to giving up games in the Garden. I think it's the pressure of playing in front of the fans at home and stuff and what's expected. But like Ben said, you don't want to go down 0-2 going into Boston. Even if Boston is known to give up a game or two at home, you just don't want to do that.
And
they ain't losing both in Boston, though. Yeah, you're right. They have been giving them up, but to see them lose both at home, you can put a bow on the series at Boston.
Yeah, because you're looking at it potentially, even if the Warriors steal one, you're looking at it going back to Game 5, 3-1, right?
Yeah, if you're the Warriors and you lose tonight, you have to win 4 out of the next 5 games. That's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you're LeBron, you know what I'm saying?
And one thing one thing that could potentially help the Warriors in this situation is if they get another I switched off the thing. and they get another 12-point performance from Mr. Tatum here.
Yeah.
That could help their cause here. But if you look at these trends, every time that Jason Tatum has had a bad game, he's
Goes
followed
off.
it up by filling it up completely. I know some guys here on the podcast are already expecting Jason Tatum to have a big game tonight. Can one of you guys give me a reason why, other than the trends here? Do you just think he's going to get his own? He's going to take advantage of these Curry matchups, or is he just going to play better?
Go, Ben.
I think the attempts are going to be there. 17 attempts. You expect him to have 20 points on 17 attempts. I do think that he's going to take advantage of Curry. He was just missing shots, bro. He did have some good looks at times as well. He was just missing shots. It wasn't his night, like Ron alluded to earlier, though. He did take into his playmaking. He did get into his playmaking bag and set some dudes up for some easy shots. I expect him to fully bounce back. I mean, this is the NBA Finals. What are you going to do? Skunk the first 2 games of the series, and you're Jason Tatum. You were 50-50 to win MVP with, just about. You had the closest odds to win Finals MVP, and you're after a 12-point performance. Hell no, 30 points tonight. 30 points tonight is what I think for Tatum. I think that he's going to – and if they want to win, you're not going to win 2 games with Jason Tatum playing poorly. If they want to win, if they have any chance to win, it's going to have to be because he plays well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just like Ben said, he shot 17 times. He was 3 for 17, but he still had put up 17 shots. That was only behind Brown, who put up 23. And he went to the line the most out of the whole team. So even though his shots weren't going down, he was still driving in the paint. He was still getting, his attempts down there and getting fouled. He went 5 for 7. So 12 out of his, 5 out of his 12 points came from the free throw line. So he's still going to take the ball. He's still going to drive in. Just because he's not making his shots, that doesn't mean he's going to stand around. And clearly, like we pointed out with the 13 assists, he also had 5 boards. Now, I think he's going to have the best all-around game, one, because he plays the longest. He put up 42 minutes, the most out of any player. So if we talked about that, how Curry gets love for hockey assists. I mean, this guy does give a lot of hockey assists as well. He's going to be on the court the majority of the time. He's going to be contributing, regardless. So even if the points aren't there, he's still going to do his best to make the squad win. And you never know. What if the Warriors say, you know what, fuck it, let's stop doubling him. Let's not double him because everybody else is making shots. Then kind of frees up some more of his space, and then he gets room to work, whether it's from the 3-point line or driving in. So it's that Mamba mentality as well. We all know he walked into the court today with a sick ass jacket. It's got like Jordan on one side when Jordan won the MVP, and then he has Kobe on the other side. So I mean, this guy's dialed in, bro.
So you're expecting a big game from Tatum?
Huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Huge.
What about you, Justin? I know you're a big Kobe guy. Do you see Jason Tatum having a bounce back game?
Yeah, I do. I think we're going to see a lot more driving in. If you looked at that efficiency landscape that you posted earlier, he's going to be driving in, getting some in the post, and then he's going to get to the free throw line and adding his points from there. That's what I expect out of Tatum tonight, some more aggression. Now, the thing I do worry about with Tatum, when he does get aggressive like that, tends to get into some foul trouble, commits a lot of offensive fouls. Do we see him getting into any trouble tonight, closer to the fourth quarter? He's, 5 fouls, and are we going to sit him? We're going to keep playing him? Like, what are we doing there? I think we're going to have to look out for that.
That's a good question, especially with the smaller player on him. Maybe the refs will be a little bit more susceptible to some of those flops or some of those offensive foul. But I kind of lean towards you guys also saying that Jason Tatum is going to have a bounce back game. I don't know if the Warriors are going to completely ditch the strategy of trying to sell out on stopping him. I think the Warriors would much rather have the other guys beat them a second game in a row, just calling it like it is. Hey, if Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, and Derek White are going to hit all their threes, then
they will die that way. But
tip of the cap to you guys. But I don't think Jason Tatum's going to have another 12-point game. Even if he doesn't hit 30, I don't think he's going to be a 12-point performer tonight. He's going to get his 20, 25 at least, the very least. And
he's got to get at least 26, right, Ben?
27. He'll have 27 tonight. He'll have 27.
I think he's at least getting 20, at least.
Nah, we need 27, bro.
He's good for 27, but I think he at least gets the 20 there.
All right, time for Tatum's takeover. This is I found this on the show. It's a pretty cool show if you guys are into betting. NBA Bet, saw it today, and I sent it over to Roland. Roland said that he's seen it So it's a pretty dope. I mean, these are pretty much, plain and simple here. Points 26.5, 3-point field goals over 3.5, assists 5.5, and par. Points, rebounds, and assists over 40.5. So those are his lines for tonight.
Shoot, I like the points, rebounds, assists. I like making those bets, and
those are always fun.
And shoot, the 3-point field goals, I want to point that out because you don't typically think of Jason Tatum as a 3-point sniper, but he has his number set at 3.5, right where Curry's at, and he's actually cleared that number more times than Curry had in the previous 10 or 12 games coming into the finals. So I think that's another live number as well, especially considering that he had a bad shooting game last game. If you don't think he's going to have another bad shooting game, I think that 3.5 might be live. But if I were to pick one from here, I would do the points, rebounds, assists, just because that's where my eyes gravitate.
Hey. A little par.
A little par action.
We'll get to Ben's later in mine because we don't want to give him away just yet. But Justin, anything that you would take from here?
The same. The points, rebounds, and assists.
Points,
Just need.
Yeah. All right.
You get 6 and 6 on the rebounds and assists, and then you're getting 24 or whatever from the points there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that assist number, especially if the Warriors keep that same defensive mentality. I do like that also.
Hopefully.
All right. Let's get to it.
Yeah, we've been pretty Celtics heavy here, Roland.
Yeah.
So switch us up to the Warriors.
Let's talk about Steph Curry here. we see his numbers. We see where they're at. He went off for what was it, 34, 5 and 5 last game. I don't think he's the reason why they lost. You can go down the list of reasons why they lost that last game. But Steph Curry here, you see by these numbers, they're still confident in him to put up his 27, 28 points, 4.5 3-points made, 5 assists, and first basket. I like that, Ron. First basket plus 550 for Steph Curry. 27.5 for me. I'm probably going to have to go over here for Steph just because he cleared it with ease last game. And I don't see him having a bad game tonight. So probably not taking any of these personally just because the 27.5, I'm not in love with that number. But if I were to pick, I'd probably go over there. So, yeah.
What I would do here is if I'm not on him, I'm not taking a side on the game. But if you guys are really confident, whoever's watching, to take the Warriors, I would parlay Warriors money line and Curry to make the first basket. That probably pays you out pretty well.
That's a nice little call out. I've seen some of those. Those parlays can get pretty juicy when you throw in the first baskets. You get something pretty crazy there. Yeah. Justin, do you see Steph Curry continuing his, hot streak or continuing his play from game one? Do you see another 30-point game on the horizon for Mr. Curry?
I think you have to see that because what else is there right now offensively for the Warriors? You're expecting them if they're going to score. Now, if we talk about them changing it up, it would be crazy of them to change up and not let Curry shoot his threes and being him to be number one over there. So 27.5, that seems very obtainable tonight for Steph Curry.
Okay. What about you, Ben? You've been biting your tongue this whole time. You're on mute as well. So you're on.
He probably gets put in the torture chamber tonight, bro. He's got the defensive player of the year guarding him. He had a pretty good first quarter. If you look at outside of the first quarter of game one, he had 0 points in the second quarter, 4 points in the third quarter, or 7 points in the third quarter, 4 points in the fourth quarter. So suspect is a good word also. 4 points in the fourth quarter, 0 points in the second quarter. After having an all-time first quarter, especially in the finals, I know that they had showed that only him, LeBron, and Michael Jordan have scored more than 21 points in the first quarter of an NBA Finals game or whatever.
Well,
both of those guys ended up with 50 in that game. Curry only scored 11 more points after that. I mean, if you ask me, he's got to be better. I think that he came out hot, but give me the under tonight. Under.
Okay. All right. Where you take the under on all of those, the assists, the 3-point, and the points.
I'll just do points under.
Okay.
And this. Go ahead, Ben.
No, points under, and probably. I mean, if he hits over 5 threes, there's a pretty. If he hits 5 threes, there's a pretty good chance that he goes over that. But yeah, give me the under on points.
Okay.
This is kind of the story of where we're kind of headed here, because the reason I put weight too heavy is this too much. Like, is this just too much weight for Curry to handle by himself? We've seen him win before, but he's had Durant with him, and then they were clicking on all cylinders when they didn't have Durant. So this is to me finally where we get to see, hey, let's see what you're made of. Can you carry a team to the championship? Can you, Steph Curry, Mr. Media Superstar himself, do it or not? Put up or shut up.
Let me just interject. Let me just interject if I may just a little bit. I think it would be too much for just about every single player that's ever walked through the doors of an NBA gym, asking him to do all this. Look, you want to talk about, Steph Curry kind of faded off.
This is like LeBron does this every finals.
Okay, but what's LeBron's finals record? He's like 3-7. So let's throw that out of the equation there. Because when he was by himself too, he got owned by the Warriors. Let's throw that out there too, because he was playing by himself.
That's the year that Kyrie got hurt.
Anyways, look, this is neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. All that I'm saying is we just talked about who's going to step up and help. Who's going to step up and help? We would be asking this question about anybody else. We'd be asking if LeBron was in that situation, losing like he has 7 or 8 times before in the playoffs. We'd be asking who's going to step up for LeBron and help him out. Who's going to step up and help out whatever, right? Same thing for Steph. I don't look at him. I watched that game, and my takeaway is they're struggling on defense. They need to find some answers on the defensive end of the floor, and they need to find a consistent third scorer because we know Wiggins is going to be there, although I'm not looking that way consistently. But he is the guy, and they need another guy to step up. That's just the way that it is. When you're going up against a team like the Celtics, who are a well-oiled machine, I don't know any player that could take them out by themselves, solely by themselves. So just to say that Steph needs to be better, I agree with you a little bit, Ben. In the second half, in the fourth quarter, he should have stepped up a little bit more. I agree. But
what did Dirk Nowitzki have when he beat the Heat?
But to look at that game,
this guy has all stars, bro. On the team. Like, it's not like he doesn't have anything.
But to look at that game and say, "Shit, Steph, you got to step up more." Or, "Shit, Steph, you're the reason why they lost." I don't agree there. I look at it completely differently. Like I said, I think that the issues are on defense. How are you going to stop the corner threes, the open threes? And because, like Ron said in the beginning of his take, they were up huge going into the fourth. They had the game won. If they win that game, we're not even talking about this right now.
But they
I know, but what I'm saying is, it's just you're waiting for the loss to jump out of the woodwork and talk shit.
But you say it's not his fault that there was wide open threes, but those guys were open because they were coming in help.
I know, but
to help this cone that was out there on defense.
Even if Steph doesn't score his 34, it's not even a game. So I don't know what conversation we're having here. If you look at 14. Yeah, they were up by 12 going in the fourth quarter. But anyways, if you look at that game and your only takeaway is Steph, you got to step up. You're not watching the game. I'm sorry, because there's a lot of other things that are going on in that game that leads to that result. And if your only takeaway is Steph, you got to be better.
4 points in the fourth quarter.
I'm sorry.
With a superstar, we're saying that if it's KD, we're saying that if it's LeBron, we're saying that if it's Giannis, but if it's Curry, you got to look elsewhere. Come on, bro.
Sorry,
another team should not have a 14-0 run on you on your home court, and you have Steph Curry on the other side.
Is he the only guy playing? I'm sorry. Is he the only guy playing?
You should be able to score one time in a 14-0 run.
And also, you said that only 3 players had ever scored 21 points in the first quarter, and they went on to score 50 plus, and more than likely they won the game. So out of those 3 guys, who's the only one that didn't do it? He did. If when I was watching that game and he puts up 21 or whatever the fuck he put up in the first quarter, I'm like, dude's dropping 50. 60 and they're gonna win the game. But he didn't.
Be a career night, bro.
Yeah, career night, and he just fell off. So I understand without him, they're not even in that game. Maybe they're tied going into the fourth quarter. But dude, you gotta close. You have, especially when you start like that, you gotta close, bro.
We always put it on the best player to close out. We always do it. I don't understand why we're giving this guy the pass here.
I'm not giving anybody a pass. All that I'm saying is I don't see how you watch that whole game in its entirety and say, shit, the reason why they lost is because Steph didn't step up. I'm sorry. That's just not how basketball works.
Because they lost in the fourth quarter, and they lost because they were scrambling on defense trying to help him, and he wasn't helping on offense. He had 4 points the whole quarter. So what was he out there doing? What was he there for?
What are we doing?
I mean, come on, bro. They had to help him on every. They had to help him on every possession, fam. Like,
okay, yeah.
Justin, get your popcorn.
Usually, when
No, I
a
mean,
guy,
I
when a
said at
guy's
the
a
start of this
liability like
podcast,
that, they're going to go
I don't
off.
fault Curry for that loss. I said that at the start. So I'm halfway there with Roland. The thing is, I saw Dirk win a championship by himself in a similar situation. So I can't say no one could ever do it. I saw it happen.
That's a fair point, Justin. I give you that. But again, like I said, I don't look at that game and make the comments that Ben makes. I just can't do it.
Me either.
Yeah.
But Ben he's not a Curry supremacist,
But
so
I'm
it's
also not lying.
He's the number one Curry hater there is.
But I'm
I
also
mean,
not lying, though.
and
You
like
can't tell me
I
where
see
I'm
your
lying.
point too, Ben. Like I think when you're the all-star of the team, you're the number one. You need fourth quarter production, but when you have everything that he already gave you, you can't ask for more. That's where your role players come in. That's where the whole team comes
But
in.
he gave you one
and
quarter, cuz he scored 11 points outside of the first quarter. How is that okay to score 11 points through a 3-quarter span and it's just okay because he had one good quarter?
I mean, we're saying the man had a bad game because he didn't give us 50. What do you have, Ron? 30
exactly.
what?
Exactly.
I mean, it's
We're saying he had
I'm-
a bad game because he had 11 points.
He
he had
after
a
the
bad
first quarter.
closeout. He had a bad closeout. He didn't
And
close
You
out the
can't
game,
have
but it's
bad
not the full
closeouts in the
game.
finals. You can't have bad closeouts in the finals.
I
In
agree.
that-
Also,
in-
I agree.
in that
I'm
first
right in the
quarter-
middle here. I'm right in the middle because I don't blame him because he carried the team. The team's not here without him.
And
But
look,
at the same time, he has to do a little more if he wants to win these games because he's the only one there. I'm right in the middle. I'm not fully each other way,
Yeah. I mean, it's only one game. He can still go off and he can still win MVP, and the Warriors can still win the championship. He scored all those points, and the first quarter was still 32-28. Boston was still only down
Because
4.
they got a squad. Boston has a squad, and they got contribution from a lot of people, from Derek White and Al Horford. So again, like I said, if the Warriors win this game, we're not even having a conversation. But since he lost, the haters come out of the woodworks and they jump all over it. It's to be expected.
But
It's to be expected.
that statement's not true because Ben hates 24/7. We know it. It's not like he's out of the woodworks. He's actively speaking against
Well,
Curry.
that's what I mean.
Okay,
Tell me
if-
what superstar has that type of fourth quarter
and doesn't get grilled.
and blows a lead at home and doesn't get grilled. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, because
Why?
if this was LeBron, he'd get grilled too. I understand that.
If it was Giannis, it'd be the same thing. If it was KD, it'd be the same thing. But it's not when it's Curry, and it's crazy.
If the
We're
Warriors
just holding him to the same standards as the guys that we talk about him with, top 5, right? Well, let's hold him to those standards.
if the Warriors squeak out that game and still win, do we still grill him? Even though he only had 11
A win
points?
cures everything, cuz. A win cures
Right,
everything.
exactly. So that's what you have to do. You have to win. That's why people hate on LeBron, and Roland just said, oh yeah, he lost 4 or 5 times in the finals. Why? Because he didn't have a
6 or
squad
7.
and he couldn't close out. So we're just comparing apples to apples here. But hey, we're getting intense, and I like it because the game's about to tip off. So
Yeah,
it's
and
good
again,
energy to take.
let's-
That's I like that too. We're not on the same side. We feel strong and have opinions on different sides, and it makes for good content.
Yeah,
Like I said, I agree with some of what's being said, but again, I just don't look at that as being the reason why they lost. I'm just not going to go there. But let's move on to our best bets of the game. I think that's the next slide. Oh no, we already talked about the odds to win Finals MVP. I think Jaylen Brown is very live here. I think we can all agree. Plus 650. Would that be everybody's favorite bet at this point?
The only value, I mean, unless you still think the Warriors win the series, then Curry at plus 145 is value compared to pre-series.
Yeah, exactly. He opened up close to minus 200 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Marcus Smart either. He's still very, very live, especially with the Celtics winning.
Was that your dark horse pick or what?
Yeah, that was my.
I wonder why you made that comment because he ain't winning it.
Have the
It's
odds got
true,
a better?
though.
Have the
It's
odds got a
true,
better
though.
run?
Fuck, I can find out.
I think he was like plus 2,000 when you said it before.
Oh,
Game
so it's
one.
plus 18.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
what
the
he
W
was.
helped. The W helped.
Hey, he was 7 for 11, 4 for 7 from 3. He had 18 points, 4 dimes and 5 rebounds. I mean, fuck.
Hey,
man.
if
I
he
mean, you're
puts-
at plus money in
hey,
all 3 right there. You just sprinkle. I mean, at that point,
And if he puts Curry in the torture chamber tonight and comes through with some
Hey.
points, then we'll see those odds shrink a little bit more for sure.
Facts.
All right, let's move on. These are our best bets.
Oh,
I don't think the game is tipped off
He-
yet because you're probably doing the long intro. But I'll just
Yeah.
give mine real quick.
Go ahead.
Full game under 215. I know the threes were raining. I don't see that necessarily happening again today. I think they're going to tighten things up on defense. And the pace of play was around 93, 94 possessions. So I think all of that's going to play into the under tonight. That's where I'm going.
And to add to your point there, I saw something that Boston likes to slow down the pace of the game because they're the bigger squad and they don't want to run with Golden State. You know, they'd rather have court offense, have court defense, bully them up, you know,
Get that
deal them up.
switch.
Yeah, get those switches. So that adds to your, you know, under their rolling. But to go back to the MVP odds, he was at 3,100 when we did the last podcast.
Damn.
Plus 3,100.
Did you take it at 3,100?
Yeah, a little sprinkle.
I hope you hit.
Thanks, pal. Ben, go ahead, man. What you got? What's your best bet for the night?
I expect a big night from Tatum tonight. Like I said, win or lose for the Celtics. We've seen most people say Warriors win tonight. Like we said, it's kind of do or die for them. They can't go down 0-2. But I think whether the Celtics win or lose, Jason Tatum will bounce back tonight. If the game is close, it's going to be because he had 30 points tonight, I believe. So give me Tatum to bounce back like he tends to do in these situations.
Nice. I'm gonna ride that Tatum train on, you know, with you, man. But I'm going with the assist over 5.5, like we've repeatedly said here, and has been the story. He dropped 13 dimes. I mean, he needs to get half of that, you know, and he's gonna be on the floor a lot, 42 minutes. If the guys shoot the way that they did, he's Gucci here. If Jaylen Brown, you know, can knock down some shots, even if he's dishing to, you know, Williams in the paint, you know, on those lobs, or even, you know, Hartford with those little bunnies. I mean, 6 assists should be nothing if he just, you know, plays somewhat of how he played in, you know, game 1. So let's all pray for Tatum to go off and, you know, under 215.
What about you, Justin? I know you don't have anything on the screen, but are you?
I like that points, rebounds, and assists from Tatum. I think you got it on some books at 40, so I think that's very obtainable tonight.
Shit, Kobe 2.0.
And Eddie, Houston Yates is lucky they didn't play me, Eddie. All right, I'll tell you that.
They would have been calling for that double team, right?
Yeah, they would have been doubling. And I would have been like, Booker, hey, yo, don't double team and pick up, man.
That's too funny. That was too funny. Booker, oh my God, because he got doubled a lot. Go ahead.
All I know is that this podcast was interesting and it was a lot of fun, and somebody's gonna be able to talk a lot of shit after game 2, and somebody's not. So we'll see.
Can't always be on the same side. I know.
If Curry goes for 50, I won't be here for the next one.
Hey, but what if he goes for 50 and they take that L?
I'll be here, baby. I'll be here.
He'll be the first one. He'll make the room and everything to go live.
Love to see another day.
Yeah.
All right.
We did do a post show. No, we did do a post show last time just because the game was so good. I don't know if we'll come back, you know, to that tonight, but
I'll be bad by that time.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Me and Ron might be on. Who knows?
Any parting thoughts? Anything you guys want to get off your chest before we sign off tonight?
No.
I hope fucking Curry loses a damn game. I hope. you know what will be best case fucking scenario real quick now that you said it. Game Celtics up by 2. Warriors last possession. Ball's in Curry's hands. Steve Kerr draws up an awesome out of bounds play, and he's wide open, and he just breaks the fuck out.
I thought you were gonna say Smart takes his cookies, cuz he gets under plus 1,000 odds to win MVP.
Yeah, that's your best case right there, Ron. When you think about it.
There you go. All right, good. Take.
All right,
good take to end the show.
I think the game is just about to tip off if it hasn't already. It's been another fun live show for you guys. We're gonna try and do this. So we're gonna be back for game 3. You guys down for that? I think I'm game down. 3 should be if we're doing a day or two rest, should be on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So
Damn it, boy.
Yeah, but they get that extra rest in the finals. It's not a day rest. They get 2 days rest in the finals. So we'll be in Boston for that one. Not live, but maybe one day we'll get on that train. So all right. We'll talk to you guys later. That's We Talking About Sports, and we're out.
That's it. Peace. Thank you.
So you say gracias.